it's easy to say, like, don't be afraid. Like, oh, I've never thought of that before. But go out there, be confident in yourself and your community.
Grow that circle out and out and out. And then little like subgroups and committees that kind of form within there.
Like a 55 and up community.
Amazed by the life and the stories that these people have to share.
Exactly.
I think that's sick.
It was really fun.
Do you have any secrets to keeping the conversation rolling when you meet someone new? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. GetIndiana.com is your one-stop shop for everything Indiana, from festival and event guides to blog posts covering hidden gems, local businesses, small towns, and more. Check it out and learn something new about the Hoosier State at GetIndiana.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter right there at the top. My guest today is FM Loughead, and she grew up in downtown Chicago. She graduated from DePaul University with an L and then relocated to Indianapolis in 2021. While working remotely and without an existing social network in her new city, she founded BFF Indy to help women build meaningful friendships in the Indianapolis region. Today we're going to be diving into the stress that comes with moving to a big metropolitan in a new place, making adult friends. It's a hard thing to do. And one piece about Indy, I feel like, is people grew up a lot of times with each other and have existing, whether it's college friendships or high school friendships. And so being an outsider coming in can be interesting. And just talking about the importance of building the in-person social network as an adult. So FM, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
This is fun. I always love when I get out-of-staters coming that have moved in-state, coming on the show to talk about their perspective. You know, talk about growing up in downtown Chicago, going to DePaul, and then finding yourself in 2021 moving to Indianapolis. Give me some of maybe your perceptions of Indiana and your perceptions of Indianapolis growing up in Chicago and then finding out you were going to move here.
So Indianapolis was not on my radar at all. When I found out we were moving to Indianapolis, I was somewhat surprised, but very much, what are we going to do here? Yeah. But moving here, I found so much community and there are so many things to do. Of course, there's different pros and cons to every city. Yeah. But Indiana is definitely up there on the list.
You had not, were you excited or were you bummed out? Honest, candid truth.
I was excited for a new adventure. We moved kind of in the height of COVID, that mid to late 2021. So Chicago was pretty much shut down when we moved. And I was just ready for a new adventure. We had just gotten married and new jobs, all of the things.
How did you decide where you were going to live? Like when you were researching Indianapolis, we're moving to a new city, where were you learning about the city and the state?
When we moved, my husband was still at IU. So he graduated from Indiana University in Bloomington. And then, so we were there for about 4 to 6 months. Okay. And then once we moved to Indianapolis specifically, we moved for his job. So he worked for a race team and the team was based kind of on the border of Zionsville and Carmel. And then the track is obviously in Speedway. So we based our living situation off of that. So we ended up in Brownsburg.
Oh, Brownsburg.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as because you would probably be early, mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like an early, mid-20s couple living in Brownsburg is not something you typically think about. Was that a good fit? Did you enjoy your time? Are you still in Brownsburg? Give me the rundown.
So we are not still in Brownsburg.
Okay.
We loved it for the time being. We were there for about a year. But me being from downtown Chicago, I'm like, I needed something a little bit more.
I think that's kind of reverse.
Yes.
I feel like people start in a downtown or a Broad Ripple or a Mass Ave or a Fountain Square, and then you graduate to Brownsburg.
Yes.
And this actually is something that I hear quite frequently from people that don't have a lot of personal connections, is because it's you're looking online and you don't know what you don't know.
For sure.
And it's hard to decipher oh, I'm 22. I'm going to want to be, at the artistry downtown and vibe down there for a couple years and then graduate to the suburbs.
Exactly. Yes. So we did kind of dabble in downtown. Like you said, the artistry, we looked there and just different places that I walked everywhere I went. So driving was also new to me.
Yeah.
But we really liked Brownsburg, kind of helped us get the lay of the land, exactly kind of where we were in relation to downtown.
Yeah. Were there any resources out there available, as you were, figuring out your move to Indianapolis that you were checking out?
Honestly, not really. I mean, we looked at obviously Zillow to find places to live, and we were in apartments up until about last year. We bought a house in Noblesville, so that was really exciting.
So you went from Brownsburg, and then did you move over to what's been the trajectory?
So started in Bloomington, then went to Brownsburg, then went to Carmel, and then went to Noblesville. So yes.
So from Brownsburg to Carmel, what part of Carmel?
We were on Old Meridian, so about like 5 minutes from the downtown.
Was that like right by like the Just Love Coffee?
Yes, actually like right across the street.
They have spectacular baked goods.
They do.
And like literally buckets of coffee.
It's incredible.
Like their large is like a 40, and it's not
It's
actually,
huge.
but it's like 32 ounces.
Yeah.
It's nuts. That little strip is cool. One of my good buddies lives over in that area, and like there's some cool stuff there, and you're not far from Midtown.
No, not at all.
So then you're probably again like mid-20s, better fit. Like, did you like a lot more walkable? Still not like incredibly totally walkable, but like not bad, right?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, in Chicago, I'd walk miles a day. I'd walk to and from DePaul. I'd walk to get groceries, all of the things. So walking in Carmel really wasn't too bad. I would do like a 3-mile loop every morning, or almost every morning. I
there
tried to
we
keep
go.
with it. So yeah, I felt like it was fairly walkable in comparison to different towns.
So one part of moving to a new place is like, you know, there's always like find your, like the basics, right? Find your house, find maybe a gym, find your grocery store, you know, like the park, the trail, the this, the that. But a big piece of that some people will look over is finding the people. Like, you know, you can live in the coolest area in the world. You could live on the beach in California or Florida or wherever, but some people are not solely fueled by places. Talk to me about where this urge for connection started to come from, and, you know, what drove you to start BFF Indy?
Yeah, so starting in Brownsburg, we moved here. My husband was working. It's a very male-dominated industry, which is great, but it was really hard for me to find girlfriends. And I work remotely as well. And
did you know anyone in Indianapolis?
No, I did not.
Did you had no friends that
No
had ever?
friends, no nothing. So it was very,
So like, what did you
hard.
spend your time doing?
On my computer.
Oh, yeah. And that can start to be like you have an apartment, you're like, you know, you're in Brownsburg, which no hate on Brownsburg. Brownsburg is a great place to raise a family.
Agreed.
But you're like young and, you know, you want to, I don't know, go to like wine night and trivia and like do things.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be hard.
Yes. So it was very challenging just kind of sitting in the apartment. He'd travel a lot and just kind of being alone.
Yeah.
And
did you get a pet?
We finally got a pet like 2-ish years ago.
Oh, see,
Didn't
I feel like
have a pet at the
that's
time.
the first thing everyone's like, you got to get a dog.
Yes, we definitely wanted one, but just kind of that whole transition.
Yeah.
I got my like driver's license, my degree, and a husband all in the same like 3
Wait,
months.
you didn't have a driver's license? That is the Chicago difference.
Yes.
Like you become like a 22-year-old adult and you're like, you know what? I might need a driver's license.
Probably should do that.
Yeah, you're moving to Indiana. That's wild. Okay. Like, did you look online? Did you try to find some different spaces? Bumble BFF? Like, were you swiping right, trying to meet some friends?
I was swiping right, trying to meet some friends.
Yeah.
Yes. So downloaded that app, and it was definitely kind of interesting because I'm married. I have a husband, and I'm like sitting here swiping. Like, this doesn't feel.
You're like, sweetheart, what do you think of this girl? You know, like she's got a good outfit. Like, would we be friends? And it's like, there is like a stigma around it too, you know, where it's like maybe I should be able to meet friends the old fashioned way, right?
Yes.
Like I could go to, I don't know where people, like at the grocery store and like someone just happens to be wearing a nice outfit and I compliment them and now all of a sudden we're getting coffee the next day. But it doesn't happen like that very often.
No,
Okay,
unfortunately.
so you were swiping. Were you doing other things trying to meet new people?
Yeah. So as I was swiping, I'd go out and kind of have those friend dates every so often, and kind of obviously a little awkward meeting one-on-one with people. And I still talk to some of those girls today, which is great. Sometimes not all friendships stick, which is okay. You're not going to get, I don't know, on the same vibe as
like
everybody.
Not everyone is a lifelong, like till you die bestie.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think some people like actually understand that. So that's like I feel like some sort of stigma as well.
Yeah.
Trying to make friends.
Like, would you say you're in, like, do you have a business background? Like, are you businessy?
My degree is in marketing, public relations and advertising specifically. So I was actually going to go into business as my degree. But I'm just not a math person.
Yeah.
So,
because I feel like business like if you're in sales or you're in like one of those more traditional, like getting coffee with a random person that you've never met before and that you met on the internet is not weird.
No.
I talked about this with Lauren, my girlfriend, a lot because like she moved to Florida and was trying to make friends down there, and she's in healthcare. So like the idea of reaching out to someone randomly and like booking a coffee date is just like not the vibe. Like she's like, oh my gosh, like no, I would never. It's almost like asking someone out on a first date where I'm just like ripping LinkedIn connections, like yo, like let's catch up, and I'm probably meeting 2 or 3 different people, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily to be my friend, but they're like connections, or they're like, you know, acquaintances. There's places like that. And like, it's okay if we don't meet every week for forever. So that is interesting based on like moving to a new city and what your career field is or what your background is, being able to like spray and pray more. Hey, we should get coffee sometime, because that can be like a stressful kind of like scary experience.
Yes. A lot of the ladies in BFF Indy today, I hear, is really nervous to come. Like even just in a not larger group of people, but more than one-on-one for sure. They're definitely very nervous, and it's something kind of out of their comfort zone, which I appreciate them stepping out and doing. But
so you were swiping, you weren't really feeling it. And did you do any other like groups, or were there things available trying to get young people in their 20s to meet each other?
Yes and no. So long story short, I was swiping, met up with a couple people, but I did notice that there was one kind of trend amongst everybody, and that was watching The Bachelorette. So noticed that a lot of people liked watching that show and decided why not try and create a Facebook page and see if people are interested in a watch party. So created that Facebook page and had a consistent like 15 to 20 girls every week at my apartment, and we'd watch the show.
In your house?
Yes. So we'd switch from like the little conference room to up to the apartment and back and forth, kind of whatever worked best that week. But yes.
That is interesting, of like hosting 14 people that you barely know in your like private space.
It was an experience,
yeah,
but a good one.
Okay, so you start hosting, you know, and were all of them connected through Bumble BFF in the Facebook group?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Were a lot of them from Indiana or from Indianapolis or from all over?
All over. It was a little bit of both. So there were a few girls who were born and raised in Indy and were just looking for connections after their friends moved away. And then there were a lot of girls who came kind of like me from a different state, different city, and was looking for friends.
Isn't that interesting how something like The Bachelorette can unite lots and lots of people, you know, because it's like, oh yeah, we all have, because I do think the thing about adult friends is the older you get, conversation becomes more and more important with the people that you're spending lots of time with. Like I feel like, you know, I'm soon to be 29. I'm old these days, people. And like, if I can get into like have great conversations with people, like that's what I want to stick out and do, versus like the typical, I don't know, like how's the weather, blah, blah, blah. Like you're kind of like when you're in college or whatever, you're almost like forced to be friends more and like figure out conversation. And so having that early connection point of The Bachelorette helps you start to develop more and more friendships there. So then season ends, what happens?
Yes. So the season ended, and obviously we still wanted to hang out and be friends. But there wasn't that one weekly thing that was going on. So we decided why not have like other quote events with like wine nights, and we would go to like the pumpkin patch, and more people kind of found out that we were doing that.
What was the first event after The Bachelorette?
We did a wine night. It's the location has since closed, but also in Carmel. I can't remember how many girls. It wasn't BFF Indy at the time either. It was like Bachelor fans of Indianapolis. The Facebook page, I was just talking to somebody last night. The Facebook page is still like out there, I think.
Heck
so
yeah.
You can look at it. There's like 100 or so people.
Okay. So like how many people showed up to wine night?
About 50.
About 50, but this was like post-Bachelor.
Correct.
So they're like, what's going, like you're just 50 people hanging out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That all have the connection point of Bachelor.
Exactly.
Okay, that's that kind of cool.
That was very fun.
All right. And then where does it evolve into BFF Indy?
Yes. So for about a year, I was doing these like events on different Facebook pages and things like that.
And are you making good friends?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
So through this, you're starting to get fulfilled.
Exactly.
And are other people making friends with other people? Like real relationships and friendships are building out of this. That's cool.
It was really cool to see. And I think that's kind of what gave me the drive to keep doing it, especially seeing how other people enjoyed the community as well. So kind of over about a year and a half, I realized like, oh, this could be a thing. Like we could partner with different businesses. And moving to Indy too, I was like, how do I get connected with, like, I tell people like hair salons or nail.
Which is big because you're like risking a lot when you move somewhere new and try something new and you get like a butched haircut that you're just barely
Exactly.
Again, that can really affect people and their significant others. Just like I'll end it there, but it can affect a lot of different people if you get a bad haircut.
That is true.
Yeah.
So you need those connections to help you get, I don't know, a good haircut.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just getting people connected to each other and different local businesses that make Indiana feel like home.
So were you seeing it as a business opportunity for you?
Eventually it did come to that where I'm like, how do I legitimately partner with different businesses where it's not just this like Facebook group?
Yeah. Okay. So when did it change from only Bachelor fans to something broader?
Yeah. So BFF Indy was launched officially in January of 2024.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
So that's when everything launched, and we were just like, hey, come make friends with us.
What was the first thing you did?
We had a launch party at the hangar.
Oh, fire.
Yes.
Shout out to the guys down there. It's awesome.
They were great.
Yeah, the Lindsays are great.
So much fun. We had 100 people come out right after a snowstorm.
Like how many people were in your online, like in your Facebook group?
When we started off, because we like launched it and said, here's a launch party. So it was just getting started.
Yeah.
At the time, I think we had like between like 500 and 1,000 people in the group.
Which is still significant.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously that doesn't convert to like always in real life. Like I'm sure there are window shoppers that are just like curious and like, and maybe that like stress or like that anxiety of like meeting new people in person is like holding them back from actually showing up in person. But they're at least window shopping and interested.
Yes.
500 to 1,000 is impressive, and it shows that there is interest in meeting new people, and that like people have this similar problem of move to a new city and I don't know anybody.
Yes, that's what a lot of people I think are surprised about when they kind of take that step and say, I need friends, is how many other people are truly in the same situation. Because I thought I was completely alone working remote in my apartment without a pet or anything. My husband was there, but he was traveling a lot. And finding those girlfriends was just really challenging at first.
So you host a launch party. You get 100 people out there. That's pretty crazy. Like, how does that start to snowball? Because I think within a year or so, you end up building it to 20,000 members.
Yes. So just kind of got more traction. I think word of mouth is definitely very important in our growth. A lot of people are now kind of speaking out about how they want to find friends and want to get more connected to the community, because not only have women moved to Indianapolis, but they've been in Indianapolis their whole life, and then their friends move away. So they're trying to find that resource. And when I moved here, there wasn't really a one-stop shop, if you would call it, to find that community.
So was it like monthly in-person events?
Yes.
And then just like dialogue going on in the group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like what were kind of like topics being floated through the online portion of it?
Yes. So a lot of people would go on our Facebook group and kind of basically just introduce themselves, kind of like Bumble BFF, the app, but more in depth, only because I feel like with swiping too, it's just like you get a paragraph or a couple sentence and a couple pictures, and it doesn't really give the full scope of the person. So people had the opportunity to dive deeper into like their values and what they're looking for in a friend. So people are very open, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's like introducing, hyping each other up, that whole night. Were there any of like really memorable events that first year after the launch party at the hangar?
I would say, it is at the first year, the birthday party. We've started our annual birthday party event where we just invite the entire community along with a few different local businesses to come out and just celebrate community.
Okay, so year one, how many people came to the birthday party? Like,
we had like 150.
That's pretty sick.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Were you getting help organizing and planning all these things, or was it, and where were you getting inspiration for what events you should be doing?
Help wise, there was a little support here and there, but mainly it was just me.
Yeah.
We have our ambassador team, which is fantastic. They help me out on site at events, so I couldn't do it without them today. But at the start, it was just me and getting ideas from the community too, because I mean, selfishly, it started a little bit because I wanted community.
Yeah.
But moving forward, it's like these are for women who also need friends and have different interests than I do. So
yeah, which is interesting too, where it's like if you can build a spot, because it starts with Bachelor fans of Indianapolis, and then it like, someone told me about that, like building out your audience, your target demographic, and starting like super small, like with just a pinpoint, like Bachelor fans of Indianapolis. And then it grows to like, wine and cheese in Indianapolis. And that circle is a little bit bigger than Bachelor fans, but Bachelor fans are probably still considered in there. And then it grows to like, women in their 20s, women in their 20s and 30s, women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And you just like grow that circle out and out and out. And then little like subgroups and committees that kind of form within there.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they're probably meeting and you have no idea that they even met through your space.
Yes. And it's all happened very naturally. I'll say, looking back on the last 2 years, it's incredible how things have just kind of evolved with, I don't want to say not a goal in mind. Obviously that goal is our mission, but just growing the community and having those subgroups and different opportunities for women to meet.
Well, and when you say the mission, what is like in a sentence or two, like what's the mission?
Yes. So the mission of BFF Indy is to create an affordable and accessible community for women in and around Indianapolis.
An affordable and accessible community for women in and around Indianapolis. Okay. Like this sort of thing is so important, like a social club or a run club or a country club. Like there's a lot of different ways that this has been packaged, and it's important. And I think that like the affordable and accessible part is pretty cool. And like having a digital component to it as well as an in-person component. Money. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. What have been some of the most memorable moments thus far?
Overall, just seeing women connect. Like you said, there's people that maybe that are actually connecting without even my knowledge. I'll hear months later like, oh, we met through BFF Indy and now we have a weekly book club or just, again, watch party and kind of coming full circle. So it's cool to see that these ladies are truly making friends, and somebody who is like me just moved to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Making friends.
I always love to see like people that have a problem and then they like set out to work and solve their problem. Like, because the worst thing, even if, only 10 people ever joined, at least you would have had 10 friends that like The Bachelor and you're hanging out. Talk about some of the most memorable connections that have been made through BFF Indy.
I found a lot of incredible friends just within the community itself. Last night specifically, I met with some girls and we have a bi-weekly Bible study. And we just talk about like life and supporting each other. And it's truly, I love seeing how open people are, not just in person with my friends, but even on the Facebook group. There are ladies who have different struggles and don't really have anybody to go to and just go to our Facebook page.
Yeah. How important do you feel like adults having that like small group aspect, whether faith component or not faith component, having a small group of people that maybe are like-minded or have similar interests? Like, have you, I don't know, man, we've done research, but like, have you seen the benefits? Have you talked about the benefits? Have you heard about the benefits of those like smaller groups?
Statistically, I have not looked into the benefits. I've seen a couple like small statistics about how like you'll live a longer life if you have friends and all of that, which is true. But also at the same time, thinking about benefits, like you can just see the benefits of people who are sitting there alone in their house versus the people that are out. I mean, you see on Instagram, and I don't think like social media is completely real.
What?
But even just
it is not.
No, but being in person with those people, and you just see how, I don't know, lively they are and driven as well.
Yeah.
It's just fun to see.
So I'm currently reading the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Very interesting. It's like a 5.5 hour audiobook. I am an audiobook listener. And this would be back in the like 1700s, maybe like 1750, 1760. He created a small group of him and 11 other, let's say, learned people again, this is 1700s. So like learned as in like they knew how to read and sort of enjoyed it. And they made rules where, you had to bring a new topic of discussion every time they met. I think they met every Friday night. You had to bring a new topic of discussion. And once every 3 months, you had to present like a 3-page essay of some sort of prose. And it's very interesting to think like this is the 1750s or whatever time frame it is. And he found the benefit of surrounding himself with other learned, esteemed people. And from there, this is pretty interesting to me anyway. From there, they all realized that they all had different collections of books and they were like loaning them back and forth. And they thought, well, wouldn't this just be so much easier if we just brought all of our books to our meeting spot and we could all then share them? And they created the first library in Philadelphia and then started selling memberships so other people could access their books and they could buy more books. And that was where the first public library in America came from. It was from the small group. I just learned this.
I never knew that.
By listening to it. And so it's interesting too to see the people that like might not know the research or the history of people having their small groups. But it's like me and let's say there's probably like 8 to 10 of, guys in their late 20s, early 30s that get together on Thursday mornings at 5:30 in the morning and we run and we'll like meet and we'll talk and like it is just a great asset to have people with similar goals and interests and drive to be in your corner where you can, talk and discuss.
Yes, I absolutely agree. It's so important. And I don't think people realize it until they get to that point of not having that community.
Do you have advice for people moving to a new place? Like, let's say there is there obviously BFF Indy, like if you're a woman, you move to central Indiana and you want to meet some friends, you got to start with joining the Facebook group.
Yes.
And then showing up at events.
Correct.
And actually show up.
Yes.
But let's say someone's listening and they just moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they're looking to build some friendships. Where do you think they should start?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of dependent on where you move. If you say Fort Wayne specifically, there's a lot of different like events being hosted, like networking events. Obviously, those are kind of more business focused, but there's also a lot of Facebook groups out there too, just tailored to certain communities. So like
Facebook groups are crazy.
It really is incredible
There's
to see
a
how many
Facebook
people are on
group.
them.
There's a Facebook group for everything.
Yes.
Literally everything. It's nuts.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely start there. And then I think it's, I don't know, maybe building up the courage to go from digital to IRL.
Yes. I think a lot of people start in that digital, I don't know, they kind of scope it out and see what specifically BFF Indy is about and then kind of see the pictures and how people are interacting. And then that kind of gives them the courage. But I know that's not everywhere that BFF Indy is, but just having that courage to take that first step, it's always worth it.
All right, if you're watching the big games this March, hosting at your place, or you're the one responsible for bringing something to the party, here's the move every time: St. Elmo cocktail sauce. You can set it on the table and people immediately lock in. It's basically a conversation starter in a bottle. I take it to every function. Someone is always trying it for the first time and suddenly they take that first bite and they're fighting for their life, trying to act normal while their eyes are watering and they're pretending they don't need a minute. It is a guaranteed way to spice up the party. Literally, it's a fan favorite at every event I go to. Now, the shrimp platter is a classic, but don't stop there. St. Elmo has recipes for crispy shrimp sliders, a next level Bloody Mary, coconut popcorn shrimp, and of course, the fried shrimp. St. Elmo cocktail sauce basically becomes the centerpiece of your whole spread. Grab a bottle at store.stelmos.com or find it at your local grocery store in the refrigerated section near their meat and seafood department. It's a must this March. Get a bottle of St. Elmo cocktail sauce. It's world famous. Now let's get back into the episode. Do you know Bo?
Yes.
Bo's great.
Yes.
And so she's like done, she kind of started in the like dating space. Because that's another part that like, I think that a lot of people in their 20s maybe complain, like single people in their 20s complain about Indianapolis is because it's like you see the same, I don't know, 50 people on Hinge or Bumble or whatever that you see out at the bar. Like, and it's just like, it can be hard to, start conversations because everyone seems to know each other and like aren't always receptive to like, creating new conversations out of nowhere. So Bo is like doing something similar in the single space and creating with Find.
Yeah, it's incredible what she's doing too. It's really fun to see all of those like dating connections being made too and just relationships that she's helped create.
Which is wild. Like when someone gets married that met at like an event that you hosted, like isn't that nuts? So you're 2 years into BFF Indy now?
We just had 2 years, yes.
How was the 2-year-old birthday party?
It was great. We had even more people.
Let's go.
It was so much fun.
What's been some of the most fun things you've done with BFF Indy around Central Indiana? Like places, memorable moments, events?
We've done a speed friending event, which was really, really fun. We hosted it at Tinker House Events. Shout out to them. They're great.
Yeah.
We've hosted a lot of events with them, but specifically our speed friending event, I think it was last July. We had Mom Water there as well, which was really cool collaboration. A lot of fun. And then outside of BFF Indy events specifically, we had James Murray. I know that he was on your show too as well, which was really cool. So that was just a fun full circle moment.
Yeah, dude. It was wild because like he started DMing a ton of people, like accounts around the city. And all of a sudden you just like wake up one day and like Murr is on everybody's social media.
Yeah.
And then he's like, by the way, I'm playing a show this Thursday.
Yes.
And it's like, what's up, dude? All right. What are some events that are coming up that you're super excited about?
Super excited to start our weekly walks coming back this summer. We just announced it on our socials like last week or so. We're expanding them to more towns, more cities, and it's just going to be a fun way to, again, kind of dive more into our mission of that affordable and accessible aspect where people can come out. It's free to go and walk, get some exercise, meet new friends, and it's an hour every Monday. So
that's awesome. What a way to start your week. Morning or evening?
Afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, afternoon, evening. Where? How many different walks are hosted currently?
So last year we had about, I think it was like 5 or 6. So we had Carmel, downtown, Greenwood, Brownsburg. I feel like I'm missing one too. But started there, and we have so many different inquiries of like, can we do Fishers? Oh, we also had Fishers and Broad Ripple. So those will also be on the list.
That's sick. I feel like last year was the year of like the Hot Girl Walk and the Run Club. Like everyone wanted to be part of one of those.
Exactly.
And it does seem like the age old, like I still love it and I think it's fun, but like the age old, like go out and grab some cocktails, go out and grab some beers, like is slowly getting shifted more towards like, let's go on a run, let's go on a walk, let's go on a hike, let's go be outdoorsy and adventurous, which is pretty fun.
Exactly. And having that similar interest too, I think an activity really helps spark those conversations. Like if you're we do have our happy hours and enjoy those, but it's harder to start those conversations sometime when you're sitting at a table with a cocktail rather than like, oh, we're out walking. Like, do you walk a lot? Where are you from? Like, things like that.
What about the conversation piece? I think a lot of times people can get, again, that feeling of anxiety because they don't know what to talk about. Like meeting someone brand new for the first time. It's like when you're a kid, that's when a lot of people do that. But meeting new people can be hard and challenging. Do you have any secrets to keeping the conversation rolling when you meet someone new?
Yes. So thinking about, again, BFF Indy specifically, walking into that room and knowing that everybody is in the same position of looking and meeting new friends, starting that conversation. It's like, oh, I don't know if you are actually from Indiana. Like that's typically a good starting point for people. Like, where are you from? What do you like to do? And usually our events are tailored around an activity. So say book club, for example. Oh, what books have you been reading? Just finding that similar interest and diving deeper into that.
If I think of like the art of conversation, it's like starting broad. And honestly, I think the number one thing that someone could do in, keeping the conversation rolling is being genuinely curious.
Yes.
Like if you start broad and you start to hone in on some things and you find something that the person you're talking to is genuinely interested in, just have very like curious questions and you can start to like really build some rapport there.
Yes.
Yeah. Like and not just be like, oh, why is that? But it's like, oh, that's fascinating. Like what, and then you're like, all of a sudden you're like talking about their like 3rd grade book report about blah, 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 blah. And they're like, that Nate guy, he's pretty curious. Like he's great. Like, and it's like, you didn't do anything except ask 3 questions. Yeah. Do you have any other advice for people that, again, like the whole concept is like, people are out there, they're not alone. Like they are wanting to make friends. Like other ways or ideas, or besides obviously showing up to the events, how people can make friends in new communities.
Yes, I would just say be open. A lot of people are a little nervous, I think, to kind of share about themselves. And I guess for a lack of a better term, be judged. They feel like they're going to be judged for liking something or having a specific interest. But truth be told, there's a lot of people out there that have the similar interests. So don't be, it's easy to say, like, don't be afraid. Like, oh, I've never thought of that before. But truly just go out there, be confident in yourself and your community and find those friends.
Yeah. And I think like, I mean, like, we're not talking like polarizing topics here, but it's like have opinions about like, oh, I actually don't like strawberry. I like chocolate or whatever, you know, and like that's memorable. I think that a lot of times people just want to like be so like vanilla a little bit. Like you talk about The Bachelor. I was talking with someone recently and they said like the best, you know, characters or like people that have been on the show like didn't just like choose the person because they were like the most attractive. Like they were themselves. And then like they genuinely like found out like they were both nerds. And it's like, oh, well, if we would have like put on this facade and acted really cool, we wouldn't have known that we were both like nerds that love Star Wars. And now we have our own separate little like Star Wars Tuesday night hangout and everyone's happy. But if you like put on this like facade of whatever. Where do you see BFF Indy going over the next couple years?
I just hope BFF Indy continues to grow and women create more friendships amongst themselves and within the community. Again, just hoping for that growth and community.
How do you feel like the community, like the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis, or let's say central Indiana, has supported an outsider, someone from Chicago, coming in here and building BFF Indy?
It's truly incredible to see all of the support and just everybody kind of coming into BFF Indy with an open mind and seeing kind of what it has to offer. Just so much support. And I feel like obviously Chicago is a big part of my story, but myself too, just embracing Indiana and all that the city and the state has to offer has been kind of a win-win situation on both ends.
Have you taken any inspiration from other communities or places across the country or the world and brought it to BFF Indy?
Not yet. But now I think in terms of goals and what we're looking at in the next couple of years, definitely kind of diving deeper into bigger cities and what they have to offer and bringing it back to Indy is something that'll be fun.
Diving deeper is a great one because doesn't Chicago have like the Friday morning swim club or like the Friday morning, I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, that would be sick. Like get the crew, you know, hopping in the lake on Friday mornings. Like we can pop in the White River and, you know, rock and roll. Like that would be fun. But like there's a ton of stuff. Or even like niche hangout stuff has never been more popular. Like I get a lot of it fed to me on social media where it's like obscure places to have an EDM hangout. And it's just like they're in a library and having a rave. Or like Bo has talked about and people have talked about like the coffee shop raves on Sunday mornings or Saturday mornings or whatever. And it's like, that looks so lit. Like now I even see at the mall up at Keystone, like gyms partnering with stores and doing like pop-up fitness classes.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's crazy.
What a combination.
Yeah.
But people love it. And it's so much fun, something different and a way to get out and explore.
Yeah. I think that like there's a lot of cool things happening and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like let's say you live in South Bend and you're having trouble meeting friends or you're having like there's a gap that you want to fill. I do think like you can take inspiration from all these other places and build the thing you want to see. And like I do think that people, especially in the state of Indiana, are not going to like be naysayers usually. And usually if you build it and show them the way, like, you know, good things will happen.
Yes. And I think a lot of it has to do with feeling alone too. Like people don't want to go out there and do it by themselves. So having that group of people to do it with is important.
If you could create your dream partnership and event for BFF Indy, what would it be?
I have to be completely transparent. Mom Water was really, really cool. So doing something more with them would be incredible. I know that they were going to come to the birthday party this past year, but hopefully doing something where we can bring more people together.
Bryce, Jill, we need you there. Let's make it happen. Like we partnered with Dad Water for the Indy 500 last year.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, they're awesome. And they have their she shed.
Yes.
That thing is sick.
I know.
You live in Noblesville. What's your go-to place in Noblesville?
So we really like the Nest. It's a old style steakhouse. They have, the service is great. It's in an old bank. So it's a really cool kind of like aesthetic place. And then they have really good daily specials too. So
The Nest up in Noblesville. Okay.
Yeah.
You moved to Indianapolis in 2021. What surprised you most about Indy after you got settled here?
I was surprised truly at how much Indianapolis has to offer. That from like festivals to honestly just like job opportunities to events to just the people, the community here. The list is endless.
Yeah. One thing about, when you host events or you build groups, any sort of community, is that it, just when you grow through word of mouth, a lot of times it is very uniform, like everyone looks like me, thinks like me. How have you been able to incorporate different ages and races and demographic? Obviously still like focus on women. How have you been able to build that in BFF Indy?
Yes. So that is a big part. And honestly, like what I think about a lot, making sure that everybody feels welcomed and included. I will say, obviously, that from our Facebook page, it kind of goes into our events. But speaking specifically about our Facebook page, there's women that ask for recommendations on so many different things. And again, like you said, ages. There's women that are 70, 80 years old looking for friends.
No way. That's
and
sick.
It just like makes my heart so on both sides, like very warm and like, oh, we can provide this space. But also it's like there's so many women in different stages of life that need that community. And I'm so glad that we can provide it for them, no matter their background or where they come from or their beliefs. And truly like speaking to that, it's not like we allow one opinion versus another. And we try not to be divisive, obviously, and bring up divisive topics, but just being respectful and welcoming to everybody who wants to join.
Yeah. Like I say that about like what we're building with Get Indiana all the time. It's like I like tenderloins and dive bars, but like not everyone's Indiana is the same. And so giving and building the platform for other creators to spread their view of Indiana and how it's been for like, living in rural northern Indiana versus living in downtown Indianapolis are very different. And, some people don't like the podcast and they don't like our setup and they don't like how fast I talk and how loud I am and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, they let me know in the comments and like, that's great. But Get Indiana can have a space for lots of different people and voices to get to share their piece of Indiana. And I think that that's awesome. The fact that like, I think you said the membership goes from like 18 to 70 plus years old.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It is. We have partners that ask like, what's your demographic? And usually like a big range of ages is not exactly what somebody wants to hear, but it's just like makes my heart so happy and warm that like there's truly women of all ages here and that we can welcome them. Yeah.
So obviously you've emphasized variety. It's like you have happy hours, but you do a lot of different things from walks. What is the most unusual event that you maybe have organized or you've heard of someone within BFF Indy? Like someone had like the, I don't know, Fancy Cat Association where they like brought all their pets together and dressed them up.
I would say, so this is something that I organized, book swaps, completely normal, things like that. So people love the book swaps. We did partner with a community for like a 55 and up community. Oh yeah. And people were very like confused, I think at first of like, why are we doing this here? And what's this about? But that intergenerational conversations that those were had at that event fire. Was really, really cool. So it's like two different things, like you said earlier. I have
talked to it at length of so much of my perspective and conversational ability came from, I became best friends with my grandma when she turned like 90. Was when I became like old enough to like not be like, oh my gosh, we're going to grandma's. I was like, oh yeah, grandma's, let's go. And just by sitting there and talking and like figuring out how to hold a conversation, so much. And you just have to, again, similar thing. If you want to have a meaningful relationship with someone who's not in your generation, just ask a few good questions that aren't the same old, same old. Not like, how are you? How's the weather? Blah, blah. But like ask something that like peels a little deeper and like you will be so entertained and surprised and like amazed by the life and the stories that these people have to share.
Exactly.
I think that's sick.
It was really fun.
Bro, a pop-up event at an elderly community. Let's go. What are the challenges of maintaining and growing and supporting all these women to make friends with BFF Indy?
Time. I think time is a big challenge for me. I work another full-time job for a company based in Denver. I work remotely, so that takes up a lot of my time, which I love, and I don't see myself going anywhere with that. But for BFF Indy specifically, there's so many women that reach out and are like, how do I do this? And what time is this event? And where is this event? And I'm like, everything is on our website and Facebook page, but I just want to have that connection, and time is sometimes not on my side.
It's never
No.
on your side. No. Is it hard to balance the mission and serving as well as like you're putting all this time in and like there's partnerships and business and like authentically hosting events that don't feel like, oh, I'm just trying to catch a bag and get paid, and like how do you balance all that? Like I mean personally, like we struggle from a content perspective of like, how do you incorporate partners, because that's what pays the bills and like lets us do all this stuff, but we don't want to seem like we're snake oil salesmen pushing stuff down our viewers' throats.
Luckily, my full-time job is my main source of income, so thinking about income in relation to BFF Indy has not been, I don't know, top of mind for me recently.
But like you're putting in a ton of time.
Yes. More recently we've thought about it, and just like team-wise because the platform does, I don't know, have a lot of value for partners, and we reach a lot of people.
I mean, anytime you can like host an event and bring 100 people anywhere is valuable.
Exactly.
Like that's, I even heard about like booking live music, where it's like if you know that an artist brings a crowd of 50 to 100 people, like book them.
Yes.
Like you could pay them a couple $100 and they're gonna bring more than that into the bar, into the place. Like that is valuable, and it's like something not to be abused on the side of like if you start sending your people to like, I don't know, like spammy ad event type things, and you're like, no, I'm out. I'm never coming back.
Exactly. Yeah. So trying to maintain that balance of, obviously, we want to make sure the community is affordable and accessible. So we try and make our events as low cost as possible, but at the same time, and I don't really have an answer for it yet, but trying to find that balance between like, okay, we want people to show up and not just RSVP and then not show up because of the time that we're putting into it, but also making sure it's just valuable for everybody there.
One of the things with hosting events is that you never know who's going to show up until the day of. You never, and like till it's literally the time is here. Has there ever been one that you were like so pumped up about that just did not get up off the ground, and it ends up being like you and two friends, and you're like, I can't believe I spent 10 hours or whatever hosting this thing?
Honestly, not real. I feel very like lucky to say that, even though, I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into the events for sure, myself and partners, people show up, and it's incredible to see that support from the community.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than like an underperforming whatever it might be, and you're just like, and it's just so stressful too of like, oh my gosh, are people actually going to show up? Like,
yes.
please.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I show up to events and I'm like, are people going to come?
Yes. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so
Yes,
the first
like,
person rolls in, you're like, you're 15 minutes late. What are we doing? Amazing. That's super cool. I think it's an awesome mission. I've loved learning more about, I don't know, I just think it's cool when people have a challenge and then help solve that challenge for, 20,000 plus people. Like that's so cool. And if you think about like 1% of Central Indiana is involved with BFF Indy. Like that's so cool.
It's crazy.
Have you been able to meet people in other markets, like across whether the state or the country, that want to do something similar or that are doing something similar?
Yes and no. I think that there's a couple girls in Bloomington that are interested.
Shout out.
Yes, one of our ambassadors is actually living in Lafayette, so sneak peek there. Hopefully, being able to do more events in Lafayette. Just again, expanding and growing community in Indiana.
Heck yeah. I love that.
Thank
so
you.
Cool. Well, we've come to the part of the show where we get to dive into all things Indiana. So this question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you: why do you call Indiana home?
So I love that this is sponsored by JC Hart. One,
shout out.
That was one of the first apartment complexes that I lived in, coming to the Indianapolis area. So,
good experience?
Good experience,
yes. Great experience. So, let's go.
If you need a home in Brownsburg, where to go?
DM them.
Yes. But obviously, starting off, Indiana being home, I'm here for my husband's job, but that is not why I call it home. The people in the community truly make it what it is. I know I'm kind of talking a lot about community, but it truly is important, and it makes a difference when finding your home.
I love that. Okay, here's the part of the show where you get to shed some light on a part of the state that more people need to be talking about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Yes, I touched on it a little bit before, but I love the Nest in Noblesville. Definitely like a great spot, date night spot, friends, going out with friends, and then daily specials are really good.
Oh, that looks cozy.
It's very cozy.
Okay.
Delicious food.
If you had to make a Mount Rushmore of places in Noblesville, what would your 4 things on the Mount Rushmore of Noblesville be?
Restaurants specifically, or just anything?
Anything Noblesville.
I mean, the Nest, obviously, since we're discussing it. I can't remember what it's called. Obviously, like the White River flows through there.
Yeah.
But there's this little like trail that we've explored recently.
Oh.
And that's really fun. So I would put that up there.
The trail.
Yes, the trail.
Is it called the Midland Trace?
Maybe.
Yeah,
yes.
that one that like it leads you west over towards like the Mona. Like it's really, really long.
Yes.
Yep.
I feel like just the square in general, they're doing a lot of great things, I think, in the next few years with that. Mm-hmm. And then also shout out to Twisters. I love Twisters Soda Bar.
Yeah.
Yes. So I am I love Twisters.
There it is. That is the Mount Rushmore of Noblesville. I love it. Okay, finally, this is where we get guest recommendations and learn about people who are doing inspiring things. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Her name is Jill. She is on TikTok at @JillAtHome_. She does a great job of helping people find their place in Indy. So whether that be like things to do with family, things to do as a woman in Indy, just finding those. I know we talked about kind of hidden gems here and there, finding those hidden gems and community in Indy.
Things to do and eat in Indy with a toddler.
Yes.
Nice. Voted best hot dog.
Yes.
Whoa.
So she has a lot of good things on there that I'm like, oh, I needed to know about this sooner.
Yo, Nick's Chili Parlor. All right, that's on my list.
Yep.
Place I need to go. Okay, her name is Jill.
Jill.
@Home_. And yeah, just like scrolling through her profile, it looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steal My Indy Playdate Plan, Indianapolis Indoor Kids Activities. How important is creating content to grow the mission of BFF Indy?
I think obviously it's very important having people, rather than just talking to somebody face to face. I can tell somebody how great the community is within BFF Indy all day. But actually seeing that play out and seeing the diversity and the different age ranges and just all the different things that we do in the content specifically is something that's really valuable.
Well, it's been awesome getting to learn more about all the cool stuff you're doing with BFF Indy. I think that it's important to have these communities and these spaces where, you know, whether people are lifelong Hoosiers that are looking to change stuff up and find some new friends, or you're new to the city of Indianapolis or to central Indiana in general, and you're, again, looking to make some friends, whether it's a walk or a book club or, you know, go to a fun event, spending the evening at an elderly community. I think all those things are really cool. And they all help fight against this like overarching stigma of Indiana of there's nothing to do here. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. How quickly did you at one point think there was nothing to do here?
100%. And I think that's something a lot of people think about Indiana. It's like, what is there to do? I know I talked to some of my friends in Chicago and they're like, do I really want to come there? I'm like, yes, there is so much to do.
It's not as easy.
That is true.
In Denver, it's easy. You look up in the sky, you see mountains, you're like, aha, that's what I do. At the beach, you know, any of the coastal places, you look and you see water and you're like, that's what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's not easy to be reminded of all the different things. So it's why like the work that you're doing and the work that all these other creators are doing is so important, because it does show there's a lot to do. Like you could spend a Saturday, you could drive 45 minutes any direction and find something really cool to spend your day doing. And it really counteracts this stigma of like, there's nothing to do in Indianapolis. Yes. There's nothing to do in Indiana. That ticks me off. That's like my biggest pet peeve. Well, I love it. Keep up all the great work. 20,000 women and counting. I'm so excited to follow along on the journey and see how big of an impact you make across not only central Indiana, but the entire state. keep it up. If people want to connect with you, if they want to show up to a BFF Indy event, where can they learn more?
Yes. So we always recommend joining our Facebook page, BFF Indy. We have our Instagram at bff.indy and then our website, bffindianapolis.com.
Heck yeah. Keep up all the great work. It's because people like you are doing cool things like this that our state is an amazing place to be at. And we'll talk soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at Sweetwater. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.